Today we are exploring an agent-based model designed to simulate the spatio-temporal dynamics of three German fishing fleets operating in the southern North Sea. This model captures daily decisions made by fishing vessels, taking into account factors such as weather, fuel prices, fish prices, and the decisions of other vessels in the area. To better understand fisher behavior, it incorporates the Consumat approach, allowing agents to make complex decisions. That vary based on satisfaction and uncertainty levels. So, before this conversation, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. I'm Jonas Letschert, currently still a PhD candidate at the Thünen Institute of Sea Fisheries in Bremerhaven, Germany. And a big part of my PhD thesis was the development of FISHCODE, the agent-based model.
So, to start, could you discuss the main objectives of this model and what aspects of decision making in fisheries management are you most focused on, and how does the model address this impact of various economic and environmental factors on the behavior of fishing fleets?
Sure. So the objective of the model is to by simulating the spatio-temporal fishing dynamics, to provide outputs that can then be used to inform decision making. For example, a big topic in the North Sea right now is the expansion of offshore wind farms. And FISHCODE can take the future developments of these offshore wind farms as scenarios, and then you can run it, and based on the results, you can then say, okay, the fisheries will likely be displaced in this way. They will suffer losses or shift to a different gear in this way, and this can inform management. So this was one of the main motivations to develop the model. And another objective was to include decision-making that goes beyond profit maximization. So in fisheries, there are many models, especially fleet-based models, that assume perfect, not always perfect rational behavior, but profit maximization. And we wanted to include more factors, such as habitual behavior and competition, information sharing with the social network, and so on.
Yeah. What were some of the significant difficulties you encountered while building the model? Was it difficult to simulate the complexities of human decision making and interactions between behavioral theories within this context?
So fortunately, we had a lot of data available, fisheries data available. So I'm talking about vessel positioning data, but also logbook data. So what did they catch, how much, and when? So we could use all this data to parameterize a big part of the model. That was nice, but also challenging on the same time, because FISHCODE brings together a lot of different data sources, not only fisheries, but also economic and environmental. And it was challenging to basically design the model in a way that it's still runnable. It still has, I would still prefer to have less runtime, but it works. And then another big challenge was to calibrate the decision making, because on that there is not much data. So how a human, a fisher in this case, responds to a challenge or to a new situation, this is something that is very hard to track with empiric data. So we used theories and tested a lot. Basically calibrated the model by testing a lot of different configurations.
As for the insights gained from the model analysis, What specific behaviors have emerged regarding, fisher decision making? Have there been any unexpected or surprising trends in how factors like competition or planning insecurity affect fishing activities?
Um, there the direct output, like the spatial output where they fish under new situations, that was not so surprising, I have to say, because in the scenarios that we run, the amount of space that will not be available for fishing is so large that the fishers have almost no other choice than going to the areas that are left open, and then the fishing effort increases there. However, we with the outputs, we could identify areas that will likely increase the most, where most fishers would go and be displaced. So this could again be used to inform area-based management to maybe protect these habitats from like too much fishing pressure. Also, we could identify the specific parts of the fisheries that are affected, that most likely will be affected most by losses, by economic losses. So one could, again, think about maybe targeted subsidies for these fishers. But yeah, I'm saying all this also knowing that this is a model, and we would need more results than just this one to like really put it into policy. But it would be nice if the results would find their way into policy one day.
You have made the model accessible on comsys.net. Did you face any challenges in preparing this model for public use, and particularly in terms of its documentation and usability?
Yes. So documenting the model was challenging because there are so many different data sources that we included. So to really describe everything that went into a model, we had to draft a really long documentation. And then also reworking the code to really make it readable by other users. So renaming the variables and writing new functions so that the main model is more approachable. That was definitely challenging, doing it while the model was already done. So I recommend everyone to construct the model very approachable from the very beginning to avoid having to do that in the end.
What do you see as the next steps for this model? Are there any plans to expand its applications or to explore new variables that may impact fisher behavior?
I would like to explore the model further in terms of testing scenarios of historic events. For example, in 2021, a certain fishing gear got banned in the EU, the electric pulse gear. So it would be interesting to run a scenario where this gear is banned, because in the model it's still allowed since it was developed before. And comparing it to the historic data and the shift that has really happened. So this could be interesting to verify the model again or maybe improve it. This is one thing that I can think of the most right now.
So thank you very much for this conversation.
You're welcome. Thank you.